brought to you by Knights of Awakening. This is the Labyrinth. Alright everyone, as you can see, I've got a new camera set up, looking at a little bit more crisp video, I think, better audio with the new headset, and I'm hoping this makes for better video quality overall. More enjoyable experience for you, my viewer and listener out there. Today's topic is one that, ultimately speaking, I won't be able to share this video around the internet that much. I'm hoping that if it gains any attention, it's through word of mouth. So I'm counting on you to get this out there because it's going to be controversial. This isn't something welcome in most groups. Most people don't want to hear this because it falls under that personal dogma that so many people hold and no one wants to challenge and everyone thinks is correct. And we're going to get into how it does and doesn't work. And what that is the law of three. The law of three, well, it's a fairy tale. It's Santa Claus without, the big fluffy beard. Or the tooth fairy without as many teeth. It's an Easter bunny that doesn't really amount to very much hoppage. It's a boogeyman that hides under your bed to keep you in check. So, why is it this has become so popular? And what impact does it have on you as a practicing mystic? That's what we're going to be hitting on. So why is it popular? Number one, Gardnerian Wicca. Gardnerian Wicca has really jumped on this and exemplified it. And a lot of the people who are Wiccan are really big in the idea of the law of three. And the reason for it is that it makes their life easier. Why, if the universe itself is going to defend people, what do they need to defend someone for? What could they possibly need to do? The other thing is it cuts down on curse wars. It makes people feel safer. Why, if everyone knows the law of three exists, who would dare cast a curse? Right? Who would ever use magic to smite someone at a distance? Who would do that? After all, we know the law of three would stop them. And it doesn't. If it did, then it would apply to the physical realm as well. It would be would, in and of itself, really affect the physical more in this respect. The law of three is a really nice idea. It's a really fantastic concept to keep you from using magic to hurt other people. There are no laws in magic that are that set in stone. The only laws we have in magic are the ones that we have in physics that we can bend but not break. So this idea, this, law of three and what it's going to do and how it's going to come back to you, it's a control mechanism. It's the same thing as what people talk about when they talk about karma. Ooh, karma. The big bad scary thing that hides under your bed. This is a boogeyman. And knowing how magic works, you should know well enough that there is nothing within the process of manifestation that implies a law of three. In fact, all of the other laws imply against a law of three. With that said, there is basic rules of the universe that you should be aware of. And there's also the rule of empowerment, as I'd like to call it, which is that any law that people believe in enough and focus on, they can give it some kind of power. So we're gonna hit that in a minute too. First, the basic law of the universe. Law of the universe is this: for every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. This is a scientific law, and it's a law of magic too. To hit something, you must impact it with your fist, as it were, or with a weapon. And in that, you do risk damage on the way through. You're basically trying to punch through one person's energy with your own. Doesn't matter whether you use curses or directed energy work, it still amounts to the same thing. You're trying to breach someone's safe place. And I don't mean like a safe zone where they go to hide when they're upset. I mean their spiritual sanctuary that is within them, so as to cause physical harm. That's a very difficult thing to do. And you're likely to burn through some of your own energy in the process and even hurt yourself on the way in. But it's not a law of three. It's a lack of training or understanding on your part if you get hurt doing it. Now, understanding that, there's also a factor that whatever you do, you generate a field of. You generate an expectation field, but you also generate a habit. And habits, well, there's where your law of three is. The more you do something, the more you will do it. So the more you throw curses, the more curses you're likely to throw. The more curses you're likely to throw, and thereby exponentially increasing the amount of curse work you do, the more likely you are to generate a negative energy around yourself that you're not purifying, cleansing, or healing through. And likewise, the more likely you are to, hit someone like me who's going to hit you back. Or someone who has the natural inclinations, the natural, let's say the gift, where the simple act of impacting them energetically, be it through spell work or be it through directed energy work, it doesn't matter. You hit them, and then that causes them to go, what? And backhand you, And yeah, getting backhanded sucks. So you need to be very, very aware of that also. Eventually, you're going to pick a fight with someone who can fight back. And that's not going to end as well for you, especially if all your targets have been solved up to that point. That's the first. That's the universe in a nutshell. This is not dogma. I have nothing for dogma, as you know. Again, I can't really share this video around. This is going to be on Nights of Awakening and a couple other places. Because frankly, most people don't want to hear the truth. And I would get banned from almost every major pagan group if I spread this around. But I can ask that you do. Because they're not going to ban you for sharing one of my videos. They may take the video out. But that's up to you. Now we get into the empowered effects, where the law of empowerment. And that works as this. For which people have invested enough energy, enough focus, enough raw into, is going to be as though it were a law, truthfully. So when you are dealing with a large number of people in your life that are empowering the law of three, this acts like a curse upon you. They are cursing you with the law of three. Probably want to cut ties with those people when you do your curse work, cleanse your energy of them, and don't allow them to sense what you do, and certainly don't talk to them about it. Because their expectation, combined with their energy, and who knows, they may even be is going to affect you during your curse work and during your energy work. You don't need that. By that token, too, because that law doesn't exist, there's no repercussion for them doing it except your backlash. And likely, if all of this is making a fair degree of sense to you, you're not going to backlash on instinct as easily because you've got that under control. So the only thing they have to fear is, well, you or me or something like that. Because frankly, you don't have a law there. So I should say the universe doesn't have a law that's protecting them. In their mind, even though they are effectively cursing you with this law of three that they're pushing on you, in their mind, they're not doing anything wrong. So therefore, they're not going to put it on themselves. The reality, and they're forcing you to come along for the ride. And that's not all that pleasant. My thoughts on this law of three is that it's useless. It's pointless. I prefer the law of repercussion, the law of exchange. I prefer many other laws and mysticism over this idea of the boogeyman waiting for you to screw up and be like, whoa, hey, I seen you curse someone, I'm going to beat your ass for it 3 times over. It's a nice idea for children and for weaklings and for people that don't know any better. It's a nice idea for people that don't have the raw gusto to deal with the fact that, yeah, they're vulnerable every second of the day, and so is everyone else, and that they should hold themselves accountable. See, that's the other thing, is it acts as a safety net psychologically for people that would otherwise use magic, but wouldn't want to do harm with it, but would in the moment if there wasn't a bigger, badder badass holding them in place. Think about it like this. Some people can't trust themselves. They have a lack of self-awareness, a lack of understanding of who they are. So they need a law of 3. Because they know that if they don't give themselves a reason to not do terrible things, they're going to do terrible things. That, to me, is the supreme sign of mental, emotional, and spiritual weakness. And as you know, in the Labyrinth, I have nothing for that kind of personality. So I hope you found this educational. We've explored how the Law of 3 works when people are empowering it. We've explored actual repercussions in magic, why it happens that you would attack someone or cause harm to someone and it would affect you on the way in. We've looked a little bit into the psychology of the kind of people that do this. And if you're one of the people out there that do this and you dislike my video, feel free to click the unlike button. And if you're one of the people that likes this video, if I've hit on something for you, if I've helped you understand it better, or if I've just given you something that you can share out there, please do. And please do as well. Then, all the better. So if you found this useful, like, share, and subscribe. If you did not, then please don't like it, dislike it. You could still share it if you want. I doubt if you're not subscribed, you will. Remember, being knightly is about getting stronger and finding out who you are. And strength is many things. And sometimes strength is being able to look in the mirror and say, I'm not going to do that terrible thing because I don't want to be a terrible person and I don't need the boogeyman to tell me what's right and wrong is. End of the day, that's all you need, because that's part of what it means to awaken the knight within.